Hello, my name is Parker Rich, and this is a channel where I read out fanfictions and different stories for you wonderful, I don't have a name for you guys yet, sorry. Today I will be reading chapters 2 and 3 of Nothing Left to Lose by Shawnee VFX. The link to her work will be in the description. Please go give her some love. She is an amazing creator. There will be a little bit more from me at the end, but without further ado, this is Nothing Left to Lose by Shawnee VFX. Chapter 2. Virgil's point of view. Seriously, Virgil, you have to be more careful. We can't afford to keep saving you last second. I can't leave you alone on a mission like that anymore. This is the closest call yet. Those heroes are getting smarter. Janice muses bitterly as he takes off the handcuffs on my wrist. We're also gonna need to get that Evadium since they returned it after arresting you, Remus points out. I say, I get it. I messed up. I got caught. Calling me out on it isn't gonna do anything. Yeah, we just need a new plan of attack, Remus says sadistically, summoning his morning star. The plan is going to stay largely the same. Anx will still be the one stealing the Evadium. Remus, you and I are going to cause a distraction, Janice says. Wait, I thought I couldn't be trusted alone anymore. If this means I won't have to be babysat by Remus or Janice, then fine by me, he says. You can't be trusted alone when the heroes might show up. So, if they're busy dealing with... He trails off as he thinks of an example. Orphan incest, Remus exclaims. Why did I take this job again? Sure. Point is, if we keep them distracted, all you have to do is avoid drawing a SWAT team to the area, he states condescendingly. 3 years of working together, and this guy still thinks I'm an idiot. Thanks, Jay. Duh. When are we gonna have the attack, though? Wouldn't they buff up the security at the place we just tried to rob? Which is why you're not going back there. It's further away, but safer. Gladicio. They have a larger stock of Evadium anyway, so your screw-up is totally fixed. Most people would believe him, but I've gotten used to the slightly sarcastic tone Janice uses when lying, or rather, the voice he uses so you know that he's lying, somehow making you feel even worse than if he had just told you the truth. We'll strike tomorrow. Remus and I will attack Element Industries to distract the heroes. Sounds good. Now, I'm gonna go to my room. Room may be an exaggeration for the repurposed storage closet. To be fair, warehouses weren't exactly designed to house people comfortably. Not like the dead fish that used to be stored here could ask for a bed. It may not be much, but it was home for me. There wasn't anywhere else I could go. My family had abandoned me the second they realized I had powers. That, or they just couldn't afford to feed me, so they ran like cowards. The explanation I give to the person depends on my mood. If I'm feeling bitter about my poor heritage, I go with the latter. If I'm feeling bad about myself, I use the former. I reach the rusted door of my room and push it open, receiving many protests from the hinges. The inside of my room is pretty basic. Twin bed with dark blankets, a mostly empty desk, and a bare bookshelf. It's kind of pathetic for a 21-year-old, but beggars can't be choosers, yeah? I grab my headphones off my desk and pull up the Emo Nightmare playlist on my phone. The name of the playlist had conveniently come from a nickname that Princey had given me. I lay down on my bed as Death of the Bachelor, a wonderful choice of song, begins to play. It is by Panic at the Disco, for any of you guys who haven't learned of it or heard it. Patton's point of view. In the short time I was frozen, the Duke had managed to teleport Anxiety, or rather, Virgil, out with his handcuffs still on. Shortly after, Roman and Logan burst into the room. They got him, didn't they? Roman asks, looking tired. Based on the fact that Patton appears to be the only one in the room, it is safe to assume that Deceit and the Duke managed to get anxiety out, Logan points out, fixing his glasses. He always talks really smart. It may annoy Roman a bit, but I like it. It was rhetorical, Firefox, he shoots back. First of all, I'm surprised you know what rhetorical means. Second, if we're comparing ourselves to search engines, you would be Firefox based on your pyrokinesis, Logan retorts calmly. Roman looks about ready to argue, and these two could spend hours arguing with each other, so I decide to jump into the conversation. Well, we might have to Internet Explorer, who's which search engine. I think we could focus on the breakout that just happened. The two reluctantly nod. Is anyone injured? I ask. If anyone got hurt, they should have told me sooner, so I could have healed them while these two argue. No offense to actual doctors. I shall ignore the horrendous pun for the time being. Yes, 7 officers were injured, but none of them were life-threatening, Logan summarizes. Yeah, like the coward he is, Deceit took control of a couple officers to use as meat shields. The Duke hit a couple with a bat. Nothing new, Roman adds. At least he doesn't look like he's about to set something on fire accidentally. What do you think they're planning? Based on the recent material stolen, most likely by anxiety, it seems to be some sort of bomb, Logan guesses. Oh great, a terrorist attack provided by the dark side, Roman says sarcastically. Something feels off, so I decide to speak up. Don't you guys feel strange after the interrogation with Virgil? Both look at me confused. You mean anxiety? Roman asks. Same person. Anyway, I don't know. I start awkwardly. Do not know, Logan cracks. He may have seemed rude or tough, but I can't shake the feeling that he was scared. Guilty? I say. Out of the 3 of us, I've always been the best at reading people's emotions, and usually they trust me on this sort of things. Roman looks unconvinced. I don't know, Padre. The guy seemed like a typical bad guy. While Anxiety's comments from the interrogation were less than heroic, I do trust your opinion, Patton, Logan chimes in. Please explain. I just get the feeling that he doesn't necessarily want to help Deceit and the Duke, or at least doesn't want to help hurt people. Neither interrupt, so I continue. He may hate us, but when Duke told Virgil to use his paralyses on me so he could escape, he looked upset. Paralyses is the stun power. Roman thinks for a moment, worrying me. He's always been very impulsive, and it's hard to change his mind, so convincing him that Virgil may not be all bad could be a challenge. He was quick to deny the idea that he liked him, he admits. I could dig further into the past of Virgil Shaw, Logan offers. Thanks, Logan, I say gratefully. Well, as cute as this is, I want to go home, Roman states, causing me and Logan to blush. It's not like we're together or anything. Before me and Logan can say anything, Roman leaves the interrogation room. Chapter 3. Virgil's point of view. The day of the break-in is generally uneventful. Remus almost sets the kitchen on fire, Janice attempts to get some work done, and I avoid them whenever possible. Remus bursts into my room. What's up, Mother Trucker? Janice wants to go over the plan, he says, leaving before I can respond. Great. I get to endanger my life for the 5th time this week. Or is this the 6th? Anyway, I head into the main part of the warehouse towards Janice's workshop in the corner. Alright, Remus and I are going to attack Element Industries. We've already talked about that part of the plan. Janice starts. You, Inks, are going to Glacido. Your best bet of entering without triggering any alarms is going to be through the 4th floor window, specifically the window second closest to the back of the west side. Dr. Picani's lab, he explains, pointing to the various parts of the building's blueprints. As far as I can tell, It's the only room without security cameras, and Dr. Picani also has access to the Iridium. Got it, I say, ready to just get out of here. No, you don't. Not entirely. If the heroes show up, I want you to use your powers to get you out of there. You are, he starts before Remus interrupts him. So don't pull any pushy shit and just run away. At least try to kick their asses or something, he says, sounding slightly annoyed as he takes a bite out of a stick of deodorant. This guy gets weirder every day, but he's family, right? Worst case, use their weakest wink against them. Pop star, Janice recommends. I nod, uneasy at the suggestion. I'm sure it won't come to that. Remus ruffles my hair condescendingly. Sometimes I forget how hopefully naive you are. Gee, thanks, I say sarcastically, fixing my hair as he leaves. Jonas also stands, probably to go to his own room. We'll leave at 10, he says, brushing past as he stalks off. Time skip provided by Angst. Night comes, and we all pull on our own costumes. Janice and Remus immediately teleport out, presumably to Element Industries, leaving me to run over to Quisito. Literally. It's only halfway across the city. I'm not bitter. At least I'll be able to run along the rooftops since my anti-grav boots finally passed bug testing. Worst case, I fall, have a heart attack, but I avoid becoming an emo pancake. Casually, I walk up the side of the warehouse, deciding not to try to walk up a wall in the middle of the city. After a long run, it's only served to remind me of how little I exercise. I see the bright blue Quisito sign light, left side, second to the last window on the 4th floor. Right? I leaned in the alleyway next to the building, not trusting myself to jump from a roof to a wall. At least most of the office lights are off, so no one will see some rando walking up a wall. The window to Dr. Picani's office is unlocked, and I slip inside. The inside is dark except for a single desk lamp that is still on. At least the guys probably left work for the day. Probably. I can only hope that he left his keycard laying around, like Janice expected. I see the card and grab it off his desk, seeing a picture of a young man with round glasses, now to find the storage room in the basement. The rest of the building has security cameras, so my best bet would have to be leaving through the window and re-entering on the 1st floor. I walk back down to the ground, looking through each window to find staircases before entering. Keeping my head low, I crawl back into the building, hiding my face from the camera. Once downstairs, I use the keycard to open the door. The storage room is divided into several sections. The Iridium one is the first one to the left. After filling my satchel with the metal, I quickly leave the basement, exiting through the first little window that I find. Being the incredibly paranoid person I am, as soon as I'm outside, I run a block away by rooftop. Once outside, I check my phone for any sign that Janice and Remus are done with their distraction. It starts ringing suddenly, and I jump, almost dropping it onto the roof. God damn it, Remus. I answer the phone, laying low on the rooftop in case any insomniacs decide to look up. Zama's hero showed up, Lily made it out, blah blah blah. Jay wanted me to call you because he's had enough of my shit. So, how's it going on your end? He says through the phone. It went fine. I respond, trying to slow my breathing. That's what she said, he quotes, and I can practically see him wiggling his eyebrows. I try not to audibly groan. You know what I mean. Got the Iridium, no alarms. Yeah, great. You fine walking home, or do I need to go and get your bed? He asks. Damn, he must be proud if he said butt instead of ass. I'll walk. Remus isn't good at being told where to teleport, and I don't want to ruin his good mood. The walk, or rather run, home, took even longer with the extra weight of the Iridium. Especially once I eventually made it back, Janice was still sitting at his workbench. I set the satchel of Avidium on his desk, getting no reaction aside from him slowly looking over at me. It's the Avidium you asked for. He rubbed his eyes tiredly. Right. Good job, Inks. I'll probably thank you again once I don't feel like I'm about to pass out from exhaustion, he says, resting his head heavily on his hand. You should try going to sleep yourself instead of just passing out here later, I suggest. I know, he grins as he stands up, going to his room. Should probably take my own advice, huh? I say to the now empty room. That was chapter 2 and 3 of... Sorry, my brain stopped working. That was chapter 2 and 3 of Nothing Left to Lose by Shawnee VFX. Thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys thought I forgot. Sorry guys for that little cut in it. Had my door opened. Anyway, you guys thought I forgot about speaking. I hope this audio might have been a little bit better than the last time. I do have a headset on, so I'm hoping that does help a little bit, because I know that last time my audio was kind of crappy and cutting and whatever. So I do hope that is fixed by this. I do have a lot to do, so this is all kind of rushedly recorded. I don't have a lot of time to listen through, but I will try to listen through at least 3 or 4 minutes of it before I go to bed, because I have my final day of school in the morning before I go on a long trip with my sister and her mom. I may eventually, once I'm done with this series, I may eventually start reading out my own original work that I write. I do write a lot, so I might, but I don't just do Sanders Science. I do a lot of things. Harry Potter. I do I do Gravity Falls, specifically Build It. I know a lot of people don't ship it, so gotta get that out. What else? I tend to stay within the same few genres. I probably might do some MHA stuff if I can find stuff that catches my attention long enough. I always make sure to read entirely through before I ever choose to read a story to you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this storyline, and I promise you guys by the time I'm back from my trip, I will have chapter 4 and 5 out for you guys. Also, if the audio is good on this, I will definitely continue using this so that you guys don't have to hear any weird background noise. I know my hitting my thing when I'm shifting, because I shift when I talk and I like move with my hands, so I'm talking with my hands the entire time that I'm like reading this out. That's why some things sound more sarcastic, because when I talk I am careful to use my hands because it sounds more realistic. But I will always and forever read everything through and make sure it is something that you guys will enjoy just as much as I do, hopefully. It's always of good quality, and I will always give credit back to the original writer. Anyway, I'm so thankful that you guys listened. I know this one was a lot longer than the last one was, so I'm glad that you guys bared with me, and please do have a great week. I'll see y'all next week.